Sorry, we got cut off on that last one. So here's how it ends up being. I don't know how much actually got cut off. So we're between -3 and 1. -3 is not included, 1 is. So when we write our interval, we do -3 to 1. And we've got a parentheses on -3 and a bracket on 1. All right, let's do one that's an or. X can be less than -2 or greater than or equal to 0. So since it can be less than -2 but not equal to it, I'm going to put an open dot on -2, and I'm going to shade to the left to show less than. And then I can put a closed dot on 1 and shade, oh, no, not 1, sorry, back up because it's greater than or equal to 0. Closed dot on 0 and shade to the right. So it's all those numbers right there. So if I was going to write this in interval notation, I would say x starts at -infinity, goes up to -2 and stops, but doesn't include -2, so we do parentheses. And then I do a union, and I say it starts at 0, and it can include 0, so I'm going to do a bracket. And then I'm going to keep going forever to infinity with parentheses. All right, so number 8, it asks you to write the inequality. We have a closed dot at 1, and we go to the right. So that means that x is greater than or equal to 1. In interval notation, we would start at 1 and go to infinity. On number 9, they give us the interval, and we need to write it as an either as an inequality and also graph it. So -infinity to 3 means that the interval stops at 3, and it's a closed dot because there's a bracket. And then the left side of the interval is -infinity, which means it goes this direction forever and ever. So if I'm writing this as an inequality, I would say x is less than or equal to 3. Here's an or. X starts at -infinity and goes to -3, open dot, and then it starts again at 2, open dot, and goes to infinity. So I don't have any closed dots, which means I'm going to have an open dot at 3 and an open dot at 2, and then this is going to go outward from there. This means that x, whoops, there we go, x is less than -3, or x is greater than 2. All right, last one that we're going to do that's an in-between. This one is that x is between -3 and 4. It cannot equal -3, but it can equal 4. So -3 has an open dot, 4 has a closed dot, and we shade in between. And when we write our interval, x starts at -3 but doesn't include it, and it goes to 4 and includes 4. All right, there are several more examples for you to work through. Like I said, I will post the answer key for this as well as the answer key for the homework. Make sure you work through that homework just for practice. Our next lesson will involve actually solving inequalities, and we're going to need to be able to write our answers using interval notation. And notation is one of the ways we communicate mathematically, so it's important that we get it correct. All right, have a great rest of your weekend.